Welcome to Central News. I'm Hilary Entwistle. In today's news, boy group Titanium will join R&B star Jay Williams and rock band I Am Giant to headline this year's Summerfest. Over 11,000 people attended last year's event, and this year is said to be better and bigger. Summerfest is an all-ages alcohol-free event aimed at providing youth an opportunity to see their favourite musicians in a family-safe environment. Festival organiser Tracy Ruddock-Gudsall says the major attraction of this year's event is that it will be better than last.
Well, if you're coming to Summerfest this year, obviously our three main acts, Titanium, Jay Williams and I Am Giant. The 20 local bands that are performing, all divine and hugely talented. The food, the BMX, the Owen Dippy painting, the Little Big Markets are here this year. Yeah, there's so much going on, it's actually hard to highlight, just a couple.
Tauranga City Council and the Western Bay District Council have released a Tsunami Survive document to inform residents of the risks and how to stay safe in the event of a tsunami. The advice given is to trust your instincts and not always rely on official warnings, and to prepare for alternatives to using a vehicle such as biking or walking to high land. Council Planning Engineer Barry Summers says the main message behind the Tsunami Survive Think Feet, Get High, Get Inland document is about knowing the different risks.
Yeah. Tsunami Survive is about how the community can survive a tsunami. And when we looked at it, it is not about me as a civil defence person going out and rescuing people. It's about people having to prepare and manage their own evacuation. And my best analogy is when you have a fire in your house, you don't sit around and wait for the fire brigade to take you away from the kitchen table outside. You get outside and look after yourself. Surviving a tsunami is exactly the same. You've got to do it yourself, you've got to manage it yourself. Number one, you've got to survive the earthquake, that's the drop, cover and hold, and then you get inland, get high, because you've got to get out of the path of the tsunami. So elevation and distance from the coast is the key issues there. And once you are safe, stay safe, because the tsunami is multiple waves and they can last for many, many hours, so you just got to stay in a safe place until you're given your clear to go back.
An information sharing protocol has been developed between three of the Bay of Plenty region's biggest freight movers in an effort to increase efficiencies and productivity across the region. The protocol has been established as an initiative by the ICT Working Group under the Bay of Connections Freight Logistics Action Plan. Mr Gordon says the purpose of the project is to share freight movement data to help with planning cycles, maximise efficiencies and inform future discussions with the government and New Zealand Transport Agency.
The way the protocol works is there are 6 waypoints on rail and 36 waypoints on road where we're measuring data of vehicles going past, be they trains or trucks, and we're also measuring whether they're running full or empty. And that gives us a very good set of data around freight movements, and that then enables people to collaborate and try and optimise those vehicles running full as often as possible. And that in turn creates productivity and creates value.
Now for our region's weather. Hamilton, Wednesday for you is very similar to today. Fine with light winds and an expected high of 26 and an overnight low of 13. Wednesday for you, Tauranga, will be mainly fine with light winds and sea breezes. Your expected high is 24 and an overnight low of 16. Just ahead, the Chamber of Commerce's upcoming conference. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. In November last year, the Local Government Reform Bill passed its third and final reading. This reform may see big changes to our local councils, and the Tauranga Chamber of Commerce is holding a landmark conference to discuss the process. I found out more from Anne.
The object of the conference is to open a discussion amongst the community for what if in the future you are reforming local government and what its mix and what it looks like, then the community have an opportunity to have that discussion. So the conference initially will inform them of what local government is, what the local government reform, what is actually happening inside of that, what the demographics of the region are, what the infrastructural needs are, and then from there the community can start to have that discussion about what they think is important for them. So At the moment, you would say that a lot of the politicians have the discussion. This is about from that grassroots up, talking from the community and saying, well, if that's important, this is what we would like to see involved. So it's initially the objective is to open the discussion on what local government reform in the Bay of Plenty can and could look like into the future.
Why is it so important for people to become involved with that current debate around local government reform?
Well, I suppose I'm speaking personally here, but I think it is critical that you take an interest in your local government. All politics is local at the end of the day, and what happens to you in your backyard is really, really important, and that matters to everybody. It's not good, and I guess that the apathetic turnout at voting tells you that people are not engaged in that process. Hopefully having this discussion might increase that interest in local government and the need for them to not just, if you can say it this way, write letters to the editor, but actually have an informed say about what happens. I personally think it's critical that people take interest in their local government politics.
Who will be some of the key speakers and what kind of unique knowledge will they bring?
Right, we'll start the day with Dr. Mike Reid, who is from Local Government New Zealand, and he will give an outline of what the actual reforms are about, so what the Act has done, where the changes are and what's important in there. Then we'll move to Peter McKinley and Rod Oram, and Peter will give those kind of views around governance, which is pretty critical for all success. Then Rod Oram will give the international view and the economic drivers for good local governance. Then after lunch we'll have Sir Bob Harvey, who used to be the Mayor of Waitakere. So he was very involved in the Auckland reform. And he'll give a view of what worked and what didn't in Auckland and what lessons we could learn, which is a good thing. So after lunch we'll have Professor Natalie Jackson from Waikato University. She's a demographer and she'll give the demographics of the region. You could have said a few years ago that we had an elderly population. The elderly population are interested in local government politics. They always vote. I would suggest that it's critical for the younger members of our population to vote. If they will have the future in this region, they will be the ones that are here. They need to understand what that looks like. So then we will finish the day with, then we'll have Stephen Selwood from the Infrastructure Council. He's a CEO, so he'll talk about what the larger infrastructure issues are in the region, again across all boundaries. And then we'll finish the day with Anton Coffin, who will give a Māori iwi perspective of what they require from local government, and Paul Tustin from Cooney Lees Morgan, who will give a business view of what's needed. A very comprehensive program.
And how will these changes to local government actually affect that business environment?
Well, none at the moment, frankly. There isn't a lot of change there that will directly affect what happens to local government now, or to business in that relationship. But what is important again is that if this is a discussion, that business has that discussion. It is able to open and say, if we could see what this business environment looked like in 10 years' time, what changes can we make through our present reform that could help that? And so that's critical for them to have a say, not sit back and go, well, this is what we've been delivered, we'll work within that confines. Opportunity to have the discussion.
What can we expect to get out of the conference?
Well, hopefully more informed. We don't sort of sit back with our blinkers on and read or understand the little bits that we understand, so we'll be more informed. We hope from here that the Chamber will begin a where to from here process. We think that this conference will spark a lot of interest, and we just don't want it to sort of begin and end at that. We will hope to start some more discussions around the where to from here and actually engage in the process and get the community much more engaged in that process. Really looking forward to this conference and what it can do for local government and local government politics locally.
What other exciting events does the Chamber have coming up?
Right, so in May we have our Business Women's Network Conference, Channeling Change. We also have the launch of the Business Awards in April. Great BA5s already this year. We're starting with one in Adrenaline Forest, which includes a climb for the brave ones. Then we have the Trustpower BA5, and then we'll go to Greaton Village. And they a great program of BA5s through the year and some excellent training that we'll be doing also. So really looking forward to a great year ahead. It's obviously a year of transformation.
To find out more about the Chamber of Commerce's events and the Rethinking Local Government Conference, visit tauranga.org.nz. Just ahead, the reality of paralytic shellfish poisoning. Welcome back. This summer has seen an increase in paralytic shellfish poisoning cases in the Bay of Plenty. Some of the cases were so severe that some patients were admitted to intensive care. I spoke with Toi Te Ora Public Health to find out what exactly paralytic shellfish poisoning is.
It's a potentially serious illness which can affect people if they eat shellfish that are contaminated with toxins.
So what are the symptoms?
Well, it can range from mild symptoms of numbness and tingling around the mouth and lips to mild numbness of the fingers and toes, right through to really severe symptoms where people basically stop breathing. There have been illnesses that have gone so severe overseas that people have died. A number of our cases just prior to Christmas were admitted to hospital and required intensive care for a night or two. So it can be really quite severe.
What is actually happening to the body when it is poisoned by these shellfish?
Well, the toxins that are in the shellfish, which are actually produced by algae that they've eaten, basically attack the body, and in this case particularly the respiratory system and the nervous system. So things just don't work as well. So you feel these funny sensations because the nerves aren't working, and you're not breathing so well because it affects your breathing as well.
And what causes the shellfish to become toxic?
There's algae in the water at all times. When the algae blooms to high levels, they end up affecting the shellfish. The issue with shellfish in particular are they're what we call filter feeders. And so they get all their food by filtering, in most cases, many litres of water per day. And so anything that's in the water, including their food, gets concentrated. But if it's algae with toxins, they end up concentrating the toxins. And it doesn't actually affect the health of an individual shellfish, but of course we come along and eat many shellfish, so we end up concentrating what's in them as well. We had one of our cases admitted to hospital, had eaten 100 small shellfish. So he might not have got too sick if he'd just eaten one or two, but that number, he ended up getting quite a significant dose of toxin.
Will cooking the shellfish actually help?
No, unfortunately it doesn't. The toxins are basically a protein which are not harmed by the cooking. So very differently to when shellfish are contaminated through farm runoff or pollution of the water and they're full of bacteria or viruses, cooking them adequately will usually make them safe. But with this toxin, no, it doesn't make any difference.
Are there certain shellfish that are more likely to be contaminated with PSP?
Well, yes, but unfortunately all the bivalve shellfish, which includes the tuatuas, the pippies, the mussels, the scallops, they're all affected. The only thing that people might see as being a shellfish which is not affected are oysters, and crabs and crayfish are not affected, but they're not bivalve shellfish.
What does neurotoxin actually mean?
It means toxic to the nervous system. Another toxin is called amnesic shellfish toxin, which literally affects your brain and you start losing your memory. But this one's called paralytic shellfish poison, and yeah, it affects the nervous system.
You have had an increase in cases in the Bay of Plenty, as you mentioned. How many cases and what happened to these patients?
Since the first weekend in December, we've had 29 cases reported to us. By far the majority, over 20 of them, ended up in hospital, and as I said, a small number were in intensive care for a night or two. The warning's been in place since August, so we've known that there have been high levels of toxins in the environment and in the shellfish since August, but for some reason people didn't start getting sick until December. Now, it's important to emphasise that it's a warning, it's not a ban. We don't stop people eating shellfish. Our job is to let them know that there's an increased risk. We know that people receive that information and some of them choose to continue collecting shellfish. I guess that's okay so long as they know that they're taking a significant risk.
Do you think that these recent cases will act as a wake-up call to the community?
Well, we hope so. since just prior to Christmas, so now 3 weeks, I guess. We've only had 2 more cases since prior to Christmas. So 27 of them were in the 3 weeks leading up to Christmas. So hopefully the message is getting there, because we know from our ongoing surveillance that the problem's still there.
Have we had paralytic shellfish poisoning in the Bay of Plenty before?
Unfortunately, we have. And around the New Zealand coastline, surveillance for these toxins have been in place now for about 20 years. And it comes and goes. It's more common in summer months and in the warmer water, but there have been blooms off the Fiordland coast in winter.
And how long is it expected to last?
It's impossible to say. What we do know is that a previous bloom 2 or 3 years ago in the Bay of Plenty, affecting pretty much the same area, lasted for 18 months. We continue with the Ministry for Primary Industries to conduct surveillance on a weekly basis, so we know what's going on in the water and in the shellfish. As soon as things have gone away, we'll be quick to let the public know.
What actually causes those algae blooms?
Probably the answer is a number of things. Like I said, temperature is one of them, the nutrient levels in the water is another. But in the end, some of these things just happen naturally and are unpredictable.
Stay tuned, as up next we see some local kids with lots of talent. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. As part of the youth event Summerfest, there will be a dance-off this year. Sarah Martin has been holding heats for the competition in her Papamoa studios.
So All Styles is basically you can bring any style to the dance floor. So you can bring krump, breakdancing, you can slow jam it up, or any style really. So yeah, hip hop's it has so much variety in it. So yeah, you can bring any style to the floor.
How long have you been holding the heats for?
So the heat, actually there's just one. So this is the first time that we're holding the Summer Dance Jam, and this is going to be the first time that we hold the Battle of the Bands, or the Battle of the Bands and the dance together. We're actually going to have the heats the weekend before Summerfest on the Saturday, so we'll have all the battles here at the studio, and then just the final one battle will be on the main stage.
What has some of the talent of the dancers been so far?
It's incredible. The Bay actually has so much talent. There's so many undercover bedroom dancers that are out there. They just love to listen to the music and just move and feel the beat, and yeah, it's awesome.
What are some of the more popular styles that you're seeing come through?
Obviously, we get the latest crazes come through. So Gangnam Style obviously is something that is big with some of the younger kids, and they just love to break it out. I think a lot of the older kids really feel the swag of some of the rappers at the moment, and they're really into expressing their emotions through slow jams and things like that. So it's really varied.
What age groups are you looking for?
We're looking for school aged, and that can be anything from primary school right through to high school. So we're not looking for any particular ages. As long as they're attending school, then we're happy with that.
Why did you decide to hold this contest?
We think that there's lots of untapped talent in the Bay. We think there are lots of kids out there who are extremely gifted at movement, and we think that there's a need for an outlet for some of those kids. There's a lot of talent in the schools, and some teachers and things are doing some things with the kids, and there's local competitions and things. But we really see that there's a need for the kids to be able to express themselves, and especially during the school holidays, they've had a lot of time to prepare, and yeah, hopefully we'll see some really good talent.
Can you tell us a little bit about Urban Dance Company?
Yeah, sure. Urban Dance was formed in 2009. We have over 100 dancers here at the studio. We hold weekly classes. We have our company, which train weekly, and they really are the face of Urban Dance. They get out into the community and they help promote. And Urban's all about providing opportunity for young people to grow, to develop, to create and express, and we use street dance as the vehicle to do that. We have competitive crews who go away to competitions. We've been to Auckland and to Wellington. We've also taken our junior crews to Australia. We took them to Sydney in December, and they did really well. They're so cute, the little 8, 9, 10-year-olds riffing up the stage, and they've just got so much character and they bring so much life. And then we took our mega crew to Las Vegas in August. So we went over there, we had an amazing time. Obviously there's dancers from all around the world, and the kids really get to experience what it's like overseas. Urban also provides community classes. We do a yearly competition for school kids, which is called Project. It's a chance for young kids to take the stage for the first time. It's an opportunity for them to give things a go, and it's a really good chance for them to work with some of the dancers who have been around a while, and they really pitch it at their level. So it's young people working with young people, and they really get a lot out of it. And then we have a show which we encourage young school kids to come and watch, and it's a chance for them to see what we're about and to give them the opportunity to come along and give things a go.
And you do offer scholarships?
Yeah, we do. We have community people who are really supportive, and they really want to give young kids an opportunity to get started, to do something positive, to help put them on the right track, do something positive with their lives, and just create opportunities for the young people to see that they are gifted, that they're talented, and that they have the opportunity to achieve their goals. And if we can do that through dance, then that's great.
Because grow, develop, create and express through urban street dance, that is your motto. Can you explain us a little bit?
So for me, my passion is working with youth. It's about giving youth the opportunity to see that they can belong somewhere. When they have a sense of belonging, they see a way forward. They see that they have a future. They see that they can achieve their goals. Like I said, they see that they can create relationships with people, and they can build networks where they can go into positive things in their life. We can put them on the right track. They can succeed, gain employment, and they can be successful, and they can achieve that firstly on the studio floor, and then we teach them things like time management. We teach them things like working with other people and creating ideas and things like that. So we really are about growing the young person, and we just use street dance as the opportunity to do that.
What can we expect on the day of the heats?
So the young people will come into the studio. We have some experts in the dance scene that will help them out. Battles are run one-on-one, so what we do is we pair them up, and we have a DJ, a live DJ, and a live MC. They'll take them through the process, so they'll be given a time limit, and then they'll exchange their battle, and they'll exchange what they have to offer. So they've just got to basically bring the best that they can do within their allocated time. They'll battle 3 times each, and then the judge will decide the winner of that battle. The winner will advance to the next round.
And the last 2 left standing?
The last 2 standing, that final battle will be held on the main stage.
And what are some of the prizes that are up for grabs?
There's lots of prizes. 2 Degrees, ANZ, Urban Dancer will put prizes up for grabs, so it's a really exciting time.
And the heats for the event will be held at the Urban Dancers Green Shed on this Saturday. Visit urbandancenz, all one word.com. That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back tomorrow night with more guests from in and around the regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.